Hello, Internet. My name is Chamomile.
And I'm Fang Requiem, Requiem's brother. Don't ask what happened to Requiem.
I would never ask any questions that would make you uncomfortable. Just making you happy has somehow become the most important thing to me.
I'm glad. I'm glad. You've been a lot of help to my plan. Do you have any blood you're not using, by the way?
You know what? Now that you mention it, the next time you see Requiem, just go ahead and tell him that I was totally right about the marrow, that I have recovered nearly all of the blood that I lost during the World of Horror recording, and, I'm not using most of my blood. I'm pretty sure I only need 60% of it, strictly speaking.
You think you could send some of it to me?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you have, like, a PayPal address that I could use to...
Yeah, I'm glad they finally started accepting blood.
Yeah, no, that's been a long time coming. Maybe it's just the circles that I move in, but my understanding is that blood is basically the global reserve currency, so I don't know why it took them so long to implement that. That's right, we found Rita. Now we need to go find Kairi.
And who could have predicted that this beautiful, idyllic hometown would have anything bad happen?
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, there's not going to be any long-term damage.
It's a weird interruption to what I'm still assuming is like 20 hours of gameplay.
Kairi!
Yeah, no, after this, it's basically a visual novel. Yeah.
She's not a morning person.
Yeah, nah, her problem is that she got woken up, and hasn't had her coffee yet. And, so, that thing that happens to you sometimes where you haven't had your coffee yet, and so you become incorporeal right before you make contact with your friend.
Whoa!
Yep.
Yeah, that's the kind of day Kairi's having.
I'm not a morning person either. How sometimes, you get up and you don't realize it's the morning and the light of the sun comes down and you have to go back in your office like a regular living human.
I mean, I do faintly feel like that would seem very strange, but coming out of your mouth, it just seems extremely natural and somehow very relatable, even though that has not once happened to me in my entire life.
I guess that monster turned out to be plot relevant from his dream.
No. This will never be explained.
I feel like you're going to say that a lot in this playthrough.
Alright, we snag a level from that. Oh no, our idyllic homeworld has been totally obliterated. Who could have seen this coming? So yeah, Kingdom Hearts was sort of trailblazing for Doki Doki Literature Club in being a dating sim with a twist in the middle.
And never would have seen any of this coming.
A star's going out.
Oh no, that's a bad thing, right?
A letter did actually explain that the stars have been going out one by one, so this is actually... There's the letter that Mickey sent that I'm guessing you did not read when it was on screen.
Pay even the slightest amount of attention to. Isn't it like a plot point in one of the Wrinkle in Time sequels where stars are going out?
I don't know. I only ever read the first one.
I think in one of those books, like,
I bet you that
the stars have to start going out to fight some evil force.
What do I know? Come on, Pluto!
There was a joke I had with one of my friends back in middle school when this first came out about how funny it would be for Goofy to go into this existential, like, Cartesian doubt lecture, monologue in response to that.
What a dream.
I feel like I could do it a lot better now than I could back then. I should
This
try
isn't a
it.
dream.
What do I
Where
know?
am I?
Well,
Oh, boy.
I suppose that all knowledge is ultimately derived from the senses, but because the
Do you know
senses
where
could
we
be
are?
fooled, and a sufficiently dedicated and capable fooler could,
Hey!
in theory, fool every last sensation I experience, such that all my experience of the external world is naught but the traps laid by his cunning deviousness. Yup! Come on, Pluto!
That's if this turned out to be the allegory of the cave. Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be written by the Wachowski sisters, though.
I want to see that game. I am there for the Wachowski sisters' Kingdom Hearts 4. From now on, we can die, so I'm going to make an effort to...
In real life or in the game?
Both. Because when you die in Kingdom Hearts, you die in real life.
I actually can't die. I mean, unless somebody stakes me through the heart. But, I mean, that's true of everybody. That doesn't mean anything.
I mean, I would die if you hammered a stake through my heart, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Where are my... That's right. I don't have any yet. Okay. No dodge roll. This is going to be fun.
Are there enemies in the town?
There are eventually.
Oh boy.
I think you will get me started on the plot. This looks promising. Okay, but relevantly, I don't have any money, so...
Is that Sid?
That is Sid, specifically the Final Fantasy VII Sid. Because every game has a different one.
A version of Sid does exist in every universe, including the real one.
I assume he was one of the Wright brothers. Hang on. Is there a thing in here? Can I buy? That's right, I have literally no money. Like, actually zero. And the only items I have are potions that I need to live.
Donald's nephews are Louie, Dewey, and Huey, right?
That sounds right. I know they all rhyme.
I have heard that the DuckTales revival is actually pretty good.
I have not seen it, so I would not know.
That's not good. Heart just came out.
So yeah, that is how you make a Heartless, is you harvest the heart of a person and use it as raw materials.
But that means the Heartless aren't heartless. They have hearts.
Yeah, no. Like, that immediately occurred to me when I was playing this game as a 12-year-old. It's like, okay, but if they're made out of corrupted hearts, that necessarily means they have hearts. Like, I get that they're, like, hearts of darkness and stuff, but that's different from being heartless. So yeah, there are enemies. The good news is that they are finite, as opposed to the infinitely spawning ones we had back on the island. What level am I? I'm level 6. How long does it take me to get my goddamn dodge roll? Is that a plot thing? Some of these abilities come up at a certain point in the plot.
But it's the wrong thing.
See, I'm doing this thing where I just kind of wander around aimlessly until I remember what's going on. Which, in fairness, is like what I'm actually supposed to be doing in the plot right now. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, but there's actually battles. If I wander around, I can't just immediately turn around. There's enemies who have spawned and will chase me around.
So what are these little pellets that spawn when you fight an enemy and kill them?
The green ones are health. The little yellowy ones are money. We will eventually get little bubbles, and those will be magic. Although I cannot use magic yet, so... yeah. Is this? Yeah, all the rooms in here are locked right now.
Is this a house you've wandered into?
This is a hotel.
Okay. Thought maybe we were gonna do the RPG thing where you just go into people's houses and take their stuff.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we will at some point, but it takes Sora a relatively long time to get started on his career of larceny. Can I get to that chest yet? I don't think I can.
Like, you gotta steal their spoons because, you know, they might be one of the 14 spoons you have to collect to get the legendary spoon sword that is the best weapon in the game.
On the other hand, if you're playing Final Fantasy XII, you might have to not take their spoons, because it is one of the 5 random objects placed throughout the game where if you pick it up, the legendary spear that is the strongest weapon in the game will not spawn. That really happens.
That is a thing.
That is real. It is not in the Zodiac Age, which is the version you're going to get if you got to buy Final Fantasy XII now, because it was so obviously terrible that they patched it out in the new version. But yes, in the original version of Final Fantasy XII, at launch, at release, there were, I believe, 5 chests, random chests in the world, one of which was extremely easy to find, and if you opened any of them, the Zodiac Spear would not spawn.
Wow.
They do not. Probably every subsequent time we go through this room, I'm just going to run past them. Because enemies do not chase you across maps, like into different maps.
Oh my gosh. Feel endless.
So, yeah, ordinarily you can just basically ignore these, and that's obviously the smart thing to do for recording most of the time. But, for the sake of experiencing all the game's content, I'm going to totally clear out this room one time, mainly just to prove that they are finite.
Alright.
Oh god, I might actually have to retreat just on the basis of taking too much damage. Yep. We may or may not come back to that.
This should help.
Alright, entering the Gizmo shop is necessary, though. So, that was something that was going to happen. I'm trying to remember... So, yeah, Donald and Goofy are looking for the Keyblade, which means...
They're gonna
we
find
are
us.
looking... Like, yeah. They're trying to find us, and there's a whole thing where they can't. They keep just missing us.
And we just wandered into the Dalmatian's house.
Yep, they're very sad because all 99 of their children have gone missing.
That is sad.
Yeah, and there is a big old collectible quest that we are probably going to ignore. Fuck you, Dalmatians.
Is Cruella de Vil a boss, though?
No. Cruella de Vil does not feature.
It would be fun if they like tried to have some of the more mundane bosses. Stevie Germain shows up and just shouts insults at you before you take a look.
Cruella de Vil shows up and tries to like smack you with a ladle, and then you just tear her apart with your lethal fucking weapon. With your gigantic bludgeon. Alright, I'm pretty sure we now need to make our way to the 3rd district.
Come on!
Conveniently placed treasure chests. That is also unlocked.
The best part is that it's probably not. The Keyblade has the power to open locked doors.
So we are just stealing. It still is a weird place for a treasure chest. Like, somebody's like, okay, I've got this potion. I'm gonna put one potion in this treasure chest and just put it in an alleyway.
It's kind of weird they leave it outside on the balcony, too. Like, that is at least a private space, but... Like, I have to imagine that that wasn't just a potion, that was actually, like, someone's luggage that we went through. And, they just... Yeah, the potion was just the only valuable thing in there. Because that balcony does lead back into the hotel we were in earlier, so... Okay, there's a way... Oh, is it through there? I think it's through there. It's that place that's blocked with a bunch of crates, isn't it?
I have to admit, I do kind of like the town design.
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts is a very well-designed game. Like, the Heartless designs are really good. The original locations are really well-designed, and the movie locations tend to actually look like the movie they're from. Okay, now how do I get into the 3rd district? I think it's down here. So I'm pretty sure that's where I'm headed right
This
now.
looks pretty impressive for a PS2 game, I'm about to say. Like, a PS1 game, anything that is 3D is just sort of like painful to look out now, but this isn't that bad to look at.
Yeah, there's an era in every major upgrade of graphical capability. There's an era where no one has any goddamn clue what they're doing with it, and it looks terrible. Like, there was a period of 8-bit graphics where it looked absolutely hideous, but a lot of 8-bit games and 16-bit games and 2D pixel art games can look really gorgeous now. There was a 3D era where, yeah, it looked like a child had vomited their crayons onto some polygons, but
The first generation of 3D stuff looks generally pretty bad. Like, even some of the classic games, like the
the first generation of what?
of like 3D graphics games.
Oh,
I think they're also like trying to figure out like what you do with 3D graphics and whether it's even like necessary for you to use the 3rd dimension at all. Because it's like some game series will end up going back to being not 2D, but like not really using the 3rd dimension for the gameplay at all.
looks like it's locked. If only I had a magical key weapon that unlocked every lock. But I guess some dreams can only be dreams until later in the plot when I am allowed to open that lock.
Well, a dream is just a wish your heart makes.
My heart is making
Give me-
no dream or no wishes at all.
I was like, that's a lot more sinister getting. Did you have any dreams last night, Cameo?
I plead the 5th.
Cam, it's me, Fang Requiem. You can tell me.
I feel like I should specifically not tell you. Like,
Damn, it's Fang Requiem, not Requiem.
it is Fang Requiem, but also, like, it would be particularly embarrassing if you specifically found out about what dreams I had last night.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I am thinking that I might just need to trigger enough of those Donald and Goofy cutscenes and then wander back into the first one. I know what's supposed to happen here. I have forgotten the order it's supposed to happen in. Yeah, this is right, because now this place has been overrun, and basically the whole town is dead.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it will never be explained what happened to any of the people who are now missing from the streets of this town. Because, like, there used to be people standing around here.
Did you fall down to Heartless?
I guess so. Like, no one ever brings up the massacre.
Are Heartless basically vampires? Like, do they turn people into Heartless?
It's not clear exactly how it works, but they need people's hearts to make more heartless, so... They're a vampire zombie kind of thing.
I'm kind of, like, feeling sympathy for Heartless, though. For no reason.
They are the most adorable eldritch abominations. Anyways, let's go see if Sid survived.
Hey, just so you know, there's a bunch of monsters outside.
And also, everyone else is dead. So you know how some games have your character's appearance change with the armor they equip?
Yes.
This game decided that was too much effort, so instead they just gave you no armor. You just, all of your protective items are just little accessories. I still have no abilities. God damn it, give me my dodge roll. There's a boss fight coming up. Okay.
They'll come at you out of nowhere,
Who are you?
and they'll keep on coming at you, as long as you continue to wield the Keyblade. But why? Why would it choose a kid like you?
You're 17.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Never
I
mind.
was just thinking that, like, oh, this is the
Let's see that
cool
Keyblade.
17-year-old
What?
that we're
There's
so impressed
no way
with
you're
because
getting
we're like,
this.
allegedly we're 14,
All
we
right.
seem 12.
Then have it your way.
Oh, it's Squall.
Yes.
He's the epitome of the 17-year-old who thinks much more
Right?
than he. He also might like legitimately be 17 in the Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, no, that is his
They are
canon
basically-
age as of Final Fantasy VIII. I guess in theory this could be taking place after, because it's not really clear how he got here, but
I don't know, very much like the thing where like these characters should be older than they canonically are.
I think Final Fantasy VII is the only game that has had remotely reasonable ages for its characters, where Cloud is actually like 24 or something. Even then, if you get into the background, he was already a professional soldier for Shinra, like a goon soldier, not a real soldier because that is a delusion. But he was still a professional like goon squad soldier for Shinra when he was like 15 years old.
But Shinra is also like an evil corporation and having like a child soldier.
It's true, but like, it's not treated as child soldiers.
Oh. I've never played Final Fantasy VII, so.
No way. I can lose.
He is not lying. There is in fact literally no way he can lose.
Now you're gonna...
So yeah, having won that fight, I lose anyway.
Oh, you're
That's
slipping,
always
Leon.
annoying. Is there a reason she calls him Leon instead of
I
Squall?
went easy on him.
There is.
Looks
It's
like
dumb.
things are worse than we thought. A lot worse.
Because, like, Leon is just his last name, part of it.
Or
His
he's
full name is...
Leon Hart or something.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's nobody here. Sure is spooky.
Worse, is that a gun thing?
Excuse me, did the king send you?
Oh, it's Aerith. She's
Yeah.
alive?
Yeah, she seems very alive right now, so I am assuming that
Come on, lazy bum.
these
Wake
characters are before their main plot arcs in their respective games.
You
It's really
okay?
unfortunate that no Disney characters showed up in Final Fantasy
I
VII then.
guess.
Those creatures that attacked you are after the Keyblade. But it's your heart they really want. Because you wield the Keyblade.
I'm so glad that you're okay, Kyrie.
Kyrie? Who are you talking about? I'm the great ninja Yuffie. I think you might have overdone it, Squall.
That's Leon.
The Keyblade.
That is the entirety of the explanation for why he has changed his
We
name.
had to get it away from you to shake off those creatures. It turns
Because-
out that's how they were tracking you.
It was the only way to conceal your heart from them.
It's
Squall
across
wasn't
the
able to
room.
do that.
For long.
They're
So
tracking the
hard to
Keyblade,
believe that
so we
you,
put it on
of
the
all
other
people,
side of the
chose
room.
me.
You're safe now.
Also, it's mine now.
It's actually impossible for
Well,
anyone to take it from Sora.
I suppose beggars can't be choosers.
That is.
Why don't you start making sense?
It's gonna make
What's going
stealing
on
it
here?
something a lot harder.
Okay,
I
you
assume
know
that's
there
their
are
plan.
many other worlds out there besides
They're
your
like, we're the
castle in this
only
town, right?
Squaresoft franchise that's allowed to
But
be
there's
this
supposed
big,
to be a
so we're here to
secret.
rob the Keyblade and
They've
take it back to
been
the Final
secret.
Fantasy universe.
Because they've never been connected.
The one,
Until
the
now.
only Final Fantasy universe.
When the Heartless came,
They're all in
Everything
continuity, I'm
changed.
pretty sure.
The Heartless?
The ones who attacked you, you remember?
Those without hearts.
The
That is
darkness
literally
in
what Heartless
people's
means.
hearts. That's what attracts them.
And there is darkness within every heart.
Like,
Hey,
explaining
have
who
you
the
heard of
Heartless
someone
are by
named
saying they
Ansem?
are those without hearts sounds like you're being sarcastic.
And Sam?
he was studying the Heartless. He recorded all of his findings in a very detailed report.
Which is also a collectible quest.
Gosh, can we
Hey.
see it?
Its pages are scattered everywhere.
Kingdom Hearts 1 really liked its collectible
Too
quests.
many worlds.
Oh, then maybe the king went to find them.
Yes.
Fun fact,
Those were my
Aerith's voice
thoughts
actor does
exactly.
not appear to have been told
We've got to find him
like
quick.
what the context of this conversation was. Just because she has that line where, oh, they were scattered, and she says, too many worlds.
So.
And it
this
sounds
is
like
the
she's
key.
saying they were somehow
Exactly.
scattered because there were too many
the Heartless
worlds.
have great fear of
But
the
if you
Keyblade.
read
Oh.
the subtitle,
That's why they'll keep coming.
it's only
at
got
you,
one O.
no matter what.
So she's just saying
Well,
that
I didn't ask
the
for this.
location they were scattered
The
to
Keyblade chooses
was
its
many
master,
worlds.
and it chose you.
So, tough luck.
How did all this
So I
happen?
assume Cloud is going to
I
show up
remember
at some
being in my
point.
room.
And potentially Sephiroth.
Wait a minute. What happened
Yes,
to my home?
both of them
my
do appear.
island. Riku.
Are they
Kyrie.
romanceable?
You know what? I really don't know.
Unfortunately, no. Video game romance had not yet been invented.
Oh.
Looks like it's locked. If only I had a magic weapon of unlocking everything.
Like, they want to have that plot point of the Keyblade being able to fuck stuff, but... They
It's
also want
actually,
stuff to
I mean,
actually be
this
locked.
is how you learn how to use that ability. Is that, you know, you head over to the locked chest over there, you try to open the locked chest, and you can't, and then you go over to Yuffie, and she's like, by the way, you can open locked chest. By the way, Yuffie is like the same age as Sora.
What?
Yeah, because she's specifically younger than... I actually may be misremembering that. I'm pretty sure she's like 15.
I'm gonna look this up.
Which she is younger than the Final Fantasy VII cast, who are generally older than Final Fantasy characters.
According to Wikipedia, she is 16.
16. Okay. So she's
Go!
a little bit younger than Squall, which I feel like is
Sora, let's go.
just perfect. That Squall is this 17-year-old trying very hard to be cool, and Sora is this 14-year-old who's just buying every word of it.
Which is very realistic.
Right, like that totally works.
Like, you're 14, a 17-year-old is like the coolest person who ever lived. Especially if he has a gun blade. You're 14, you don't realize how stupid that is. It's a gun that also shoots swords.
It's also a gun. Is that place unblocked yet? It's not. Okay.
Honestly, the Heartless are adorable.
Right. Cutest Eldritch Abominations ever.
I just wonder, like, what Kingdom Hearts would have been like if it was just an original property. Because I feel like there's almost enough that it really could have just been an original property and not had the Disney thing. And it seems like, from what I've read, the Disney elements get downplayed.
Yeah, the Disney elements are, for the most part, they just form up a road of trials in Act 2. You know, there are a bunch of different locations for you to run around to. And each one has its own main Disney plot. And going through that plot sort of spaces out the main plot beats. Right? So you'll have a main plot beat in the Alice in Wonderland world. And then you'll go to the Tarzan world, and you'll have the entire Tarzan plot in between the next main plot beat on the Tarzan world. So,
Like,
yeah.
rather than having, like, Donald and Goofy and various Disney characters join your party, like, you can have a Heartless join your party.
Oh my god, I want this so badly now. At the same time, I kind of don't, because they did try that once and it didn't go well.
You know?
It was not technically a Heartless, but yeah, it was this weird Pokemon system where... It's like having a Heartless who is in your party, just like a Soldier Heartless, would be kind of adorable. Having to do like this weird Pokemon thing with Heartless was not as much fun.
Yeah, the Pokemon thing, no, but, like, having, like... Ow. Stop being evil or whatever.
Which canonically can happen. That happens to a character at some point. Which, like, they get turned into a Heartless, and then they just love their friends too much to remain a Heartless.
Fun fact, that does not work with Sam Fresno. Don't ask me how I know this. I'm certainly not a vampire.
I mean, you know, it's funny you should mention, because you are simultaneously, like, the most delightfully vampiric person I've ever met, and yet, when you say that, I feel like it must be true.
I just need a bunch of your blood for reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't even made that connection. I just figured whatever reason you needed a bunch of my blood for, it must be a good reason. You just seem like the kind of person who would have good reasons for needing blood.
I just collect it?
That makes sense. I mean, you know, I collect cards. Some people collect, like, postage stamps or some shit. I mean, why not collect blood?
Yep. Oh. Gosh, are these the Heartless guys?
Are these the first ones you've seen? I've been drowning in these guys for the past half hour.
Probably fine.
I love how the boss arena just creates itself. Yeah, you're not allowed to leave until you fight this battle, so, It's funny, like, I am basically just button mashing here because that's all the gameplay Kingdom Hearts has right now. It's actually a pretty good hacking slash RPG as soon as it finally gives you all the abilities you need to actually, like, play with it.
It does not at first.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get there. Like, there are some optional bosses, like, in the end game of this that are really well designed. Like, you know, they're not going to be on any top 10 lists or anything, but they're definitely very well designed bosses. But then there's also a bunch of bosses like this guy, where the secret to beating him is basically to one-up and smack him with your Keyblade until he dies. He does have a couple of different attacks, but your ability to dodge them is limited. See, there's two abilities in particular that I'm looking forward to. The dodge roll ability and the ability that lets me see an enemy's health bar. And then there's also one ability that just absolutely wrecks the game.
What ability is that?
It is an ability that prevents you from ever taking enough damage to be killed from a single combo. It will stop at 1 HP until the enemy switches to a new combo. Which means, between that and how the magic system works, you can always just heal yourself. You are nearly invincible.
What can you do?
There are a couple of optional bosses that are just so hardcore that they can still potentially kill you, but, yeah. I do believe you have to get another ability that makes it impossible to interrupt you when you're casting your healing spells. But, yeah. Oh, I got Combo Plus. I believe that adds an extra attack to my combo.
Nice.
Oh, you know where it is? I think if you pick the Magic Staff as your strength, you get the... that's when you get the Scan ability. And since I chose the sword, I get an extra attack instead.
So, you were looking for me?
They too have been seeking the wielder of the Keyblade.
Hey, why don't you come with us? We can go to other worlds on our vessel.
I wonder if I could find Riku and Kairi.
So,
Of course.
Are you sure?
Who knows?
The expression on Goofy's face is a little uncomfortable.
How much fun you think?
yeah,
Sora,
so having
go with
achieved his goal of
Especially if you want to find your friends.
venturing forth to other worlds,
Yeah.
the plot is over now.
Awesome.
But you
Yep,
can't
so that
come
was a
around looking
surprisingly
like
short game.
that. Understand?
Oh,
No frowning, no sad face, okay?
yeah, you gotta look funny, like us. Yup. Whoa.
Yes, but ones on happy faces.
It's not clear how literal that is.
I wish I could do the Donald Duck voice.
That's one funny face.
So now having mocked
Okay,
Sora's
why not?
efforts to
I'll
put
go
on a
with
happy
that.
face, they are friends.
Name's Goofy.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
Sora.
that's how most friendships start.
All for one, one for all.
Well, credits. That has been Kingdom Hearts. That
Yeah.
was a very short game.
It's short. I'm honestly not entirely sure why. Oh, hang on.
That little squirt.
Did I not play this game all the way through as a kid?
Who'd have thought it? Such is the
In all of my repeated playthroughs, I always just turned the game off at this point.
Why don't we turn him into a Heartless? That'll settle things quick enough.
That
And the
Ursula.
Brat's friends
That
are the
is.
king's lackeys. Slug on the eyes, they're all Bill's rats by the look of them. You're no prize yourself.
Oogie Boogie.
That'd be so easy.
Hades is around here somewhere.
The Keyblade has chosen him. Will it be he who conquers the darkness? Or will
Magnificent.
the darkness swallow him?
Yep.
Either way, he could be quite useful.
I'm not sure how Maleficent plans on making use of him if he conquers the darkness. Like, for that matter, I'm not sure how he would be useful if the darkness swallows him. Like, that would get him out of the way, which would be convenient for Maleficent because she is controlling the Heartless right now, but... The best part is, so, in most of these Japanese games, the standard for money is that it's roughly equivalent to yen, right? It tends to take several hundred of it to get to amount to anything. And 1 yen is loosely equivalent to 1 penny, depending on exact exchange rates, but that is a rough guide that is useful for very quick conversion. So, our much older teenage friends, our 17-year-old teenage friends, come here and it's like, here, we have a gift from you to get you started. Here is $1. It is a plot thing.
Dodge roll.
Goofy, thank you so much.
So is Goofy romanceable?
And unfortunately, romance has not been invented by video games yet.
And admittedly, and it's fair since it wasn't invented in real life.
Yeah, and video game romance did predate real life romance, but not by a lot, so. Oh my god, game, I already know how these things work. I don't need another tutorial on them. So yeah, these Trinity marks come in a couple of different colors.
They do anything?
Each one has different effects, and you unlock more and more colors as time goes on. And also, let's not forget, they're collectible!
Oh.
This game has so many collectibles. It gave us a postcard, and hey, if we send 10 postcards, we'll win a prize. We actually win a prize for each one, but the 10th one is the big one. So yep, that's another collectible.
But what if we need the postcard for the postcard dungeon?
Then we will have to come back and beat up this mailbox and take it back.
What are these 3 small children running a store?
I mean, they're Scrooge McDuck's kids, so...
Yeah, that's fair. It's always funny to me that Scrooge McDuck is basically based on a stereotype from the 1800s.
I mean, he's got kind of a Victorian vibe to him, so I guess that makes sense.
Like, the stereotypical banker was Scottish for whatever reason. So it's an 1800s stereotype.
And I mean, he's got this 18th century banker get up to him, so I guess that he's just from the 1800s for some reason.
And they never really bring it up on DuckTales, but he is canonically a lich, and his gold is his phylactery.
And that makes sense. Explains why he's got so much of it. giant gold pile makes it practically impossible to find which specific gold piece is the phylactery.
Like, there's this one episode where, like, since he is essentially just a skeleton with some feathers on it, where he compresses down to get through a hole, and it is really weird and disturbing how they animated it, and they don't really explain, like, what is happening as he starts taking off his body parts and shoving them through this keyhole, but, it was, like, the late 80s, I think, so stuff was different then.
Yeah, the weird thing is, my mom once claimed that every day when I would watch DuckTales, or when I said I was watching DuckTales, I would actually just be staring at a screen full of static for like 30 minutes.